everybody. I hope you're doing well. I was going to voice over this section while I painted. It's 2025, which is crazy. Everybody feels the same way, I think. Time is just flying by. Our winters here absolutely suck. It sucks. I'm in Northern California, and where I live, we have not had any snow, and for the next 10 days in the forecast, it's sunny, and I hate that. For winter, I want heavy rain, and I want heavy snow. I want it to actually feel like winter, not this half and half winter, spring type of weather. But the weather did get me thinking, and also that it's a new year, about how people do their goals for the new year, and they have mood boards and vision boards about what they want 2025 to look like. I wanted to touch on that because I did do that last year. I made a whole mood board or vision board, whatever, and it was really fun. But I think because 2024, I've really tried to embrace living in sync with nature and with the seasons, that it doesn't feel right for me personally to create my entire yearly plan in January or just the beginning of the year, because we're still basically in the middle of winter, and winter is a time for hibernation or reconnecting and taking things easy. It's a time to recharge and reflect. And every time I've tried to make goals in January or the beginning of the year, it's never worked out. And I think that's the reason why. I finally figured it out. I just don't work well in the middle of winter to plan what I want my whole year to look like, or even month by month. But when it does get into springtime, that is when nature starts to become more awake. Things are new and refreshed and budding. And that's how I think we all kind of work. We're all in sync with nature. And if we just try and live with that, it would be easier maybe on our mentality and our mental health. I've always thought that it would make more sense having the new year, 2025, whatever, 2026, to start in spring and not halfway through winter. Even though I know the southern hemisphere, it's different, but that's just where I stand with making new goals for the year. Is I don't think it works for me personally, but if it works for other people, then that's great. I just am really trying to sync my moods and my life cycles basically with the seasons. So I'm just taking this time to rest and recharge, to feel nice and ready to burst when the springtime comes with ideas and goals and aspirations. Hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. If you feel the same way, then let me know. I do want to also bring up, in 2024, last year, I am a huge reader. My main genre is fantasy. And if any of you guys are big readers or fantasy readers out there, then you'll enjoy this part. I wanted to go over some of the books that I read, not every single one, because I read 37 books last year. My main form of reading is actually reading, whether it's on a Kindle, on my iPad, or physical book. But I also got into audiobooks this year, and a lot of series I listened to on audiobook, and it is really amazing. If you find a good narrator, if it's done really well, it is absolutely incredible, the experience that you get. One of my favorite series that I read this year via audiobook is the Greenbone Saga. Jade City is the first one. Oh my gosh. That whole series was a whirlwind of emotions. I would be sobbing, doing the dishes, and just start sobbing because things were happening. Broke me. That series is so stinking good. It is so good. I highly, 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 highly recommend the audiobooks. Another favorite series of mine that I also listened to on audiobook is Mistborn. That series was so good. It was the first, actually no, it wasn't the first Brandon Sanderson books that I've read. I read Trust in the Emerald Sea, and then listened to all 3 of Mistborn. That series was so good, very different than what I thought it would be. All I knew was the metal and the magic system, but it took me by surprise. I really enjoyed that one. And then I also started the Stormlight Archives in 2024 via audiobook also. I'm listening to Wind and Truth currently on 2 speed so I can get through it. This series is... it's just, I don't have any words. It is so complex, but also really easy to follow along. Maybe also that's because I'm listening to it and not physically reading it. I don't know. I mean, it's a very different experience listening than reading, but I highly recommend if you love epic fantasy and extreme world building and a ton of different characters, please listen to those. I also read the Shepherd King series. Literally just a few weeks ago, I read both of them immediately. A duology, it's not a series. That one really shocked me. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. And the whole card system that they give you powers and influence you, but then there's a cost, was so insane. It was so, so good. And now I have to talk about my least favorite books. First off, Goldfinch. It's the final book in the Plated Prisoner series. That was so extremely disappointing. Oh my goodness. I was honestly skipping over parts and it was so extremely boring. It just didn't make sense. It was like she just rushed it and people died. People lived. Everyone gets exactly what they want. No, I hated that final book. It was so disappointing. I know a lot of people felt the same way because after I read it, I was like, what the heck did I just read? And on Goodreads, a lot of the reviews, people were so angry and upset with the ending. And I also read a book, was it in the beginning of the year or the middle of last year? I don't know, but it's called The Stars Are Dying. That, I think, is gaining popularity right now, and that book sucked, in my opinion. It just did not work for me. Okay, moving on from books, the inspiration for this painting that I'm doing right here, I've been watching Wild Nordic on Disney, and it is so good. I'm so obsessed with Swedish and Nordic and mythology and their lifestyles, and so this kind of was inspired by that. A nighttime Nordic. I'm not sure what to name it, but this is the final piece, and I hope you guys enjoyed the process and hearing me talk. Now let's go do a fun little craft.